Hello, Timberwolves fans. Are you ready for the explosion of Timberwolves basketball? Today is Tuesday, January the 19th, 2010. I am your host, Paladino Joey Awajan, and it is episode number 46 of Timberwolves Explosion, which is available on the sportstuff.com and on iTunes. I thank each and every one of you for downloading and listening to this show. Greatly appreciated as always. A little ratings, there's a little uptrend with the listenership of late, and I do appreciate it. It's not a major uptrend yet, but it's, I'm noticing some positivity going on, and I do appreciate it out there. Still no call-ins, and for the last few shows, Bob from Minneapolis, if you're still out there, feel free to call in again. It would be great to have you on board, and those of you others out there, please call in. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Always adds to the show. Because you know what?
Patience sucks. It really does.
Yes, patience sucks. And being patient, waiting for somebody to call in isn't always fun. And no, I'm not taking a shot at anybody. I'm just having a little bit of fun because I can. I can have fun. It's my show, damn it. No. Anyhow, thanks always for having me on board. Timberwolves Explosion is also available on TimberwolvesPress.com, your one-stop source talking Timberwolves basketball since 2007. Unfortunately, in terms of Timberwolves news, not all that much has been going on. But there are a few nuggets in the NBA going on. And, of course, we'll have 3 games to review today. I'm not going to overdo it on them because it's just not all that much to talk about on them. I mean, a couple of decent performances and one really bad one in Memphis. Yeah. Very interesting. That Houston game was pretty interesting. We're going to review that, the Memphis, and, of course, the Philadelphia MLK game yesterday. So I wish all of you a respectful, happy MLK Day. Belated, I guess, by one day. So we'll give MLK a moment of silence here as we thank Dr. Martin Luther King for what he did years ago. All righty. Let's get back to the show. Welcome back to the show. Yep, and as I mentioned, there are a few news nuggets that I'd like to talk about today. So we're going to get into the actual games first, though, right here and now. First and foremost, the first game of the reviews today, Houston Rockets. Wednesday the 13th. Happy January the 13th for the Houston Rockets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And, this was definitely an entertaining game, as mentioned. Houston Rockets could not miss. This was actually quite similar to the Philadelphia game. 5 days later. Very similar. Houston Rockets just destroying the Timberwolves early on. Al Jefferson was not too good early on. Nobody really was good for the Wolves. The Wolves shot very poorly for the entire game, about 30% in the first half, especially the first quarter. Turned things up in the second quarter, made it a little interesting. But, Houston just could not miss shots pretty much the entire game. Now, their field goal percentage doesn't indicate that. They finished at about 43%, but, most of the early on and very late, it got crazy. Aaron Brooks, my God, 6 of 9 from three-point range. That son of a... he could not miss shots, especially down the stretch. It got just a little bit frustrating, as you might imagine, for this youngster right here. No, I'm not young anymore. I wish I was. I'm just middle young now. Not a nice outcome, but really, Al Jefferson, what an amazing finish, though. 26 points and 26 rebounds, which upset PMAC just a little bit. I can't remember if it was Rusty or PMAC. I believe it was. Yes, it was PMAC in the Fantasy League for the sportstuff.com. Yeah, Al Jefferson, 26 rebounds. That's a bit much there. That's being kind of mean, isn't it? No, he looked pretty good. And, of course, Al Jefferson in Houston, of course, he admired Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, and a lot of his moves are quite similar to Hakeem's. Not nearly as polished, but similar idea and somewhat similar results. He's a pretty good scorer when he actually does his post moves and doesn't rely on that baby hook shot. Yeah, I'm looking at a certain player's name that I'm going to be getting into at the very end of the show, or near the end when I get into the little nuggets. Okay, I'll say his name. Alexei Pavlovich. Or Sasha Pavlovich. I always call him Alexei because that's his real name, but Sasha Pavlovich. To date, I have no idea where Sasha comes out of Alexei. Forgive me for my ignorance out there, but that's just how it goes. Yeah. Ryan Gomes definitely helped the Wolves on the stretch. He kind of led some of the comeback along the way. Houston led 30-13 at the end of the first quarter. You figure this game's all over. Not a soul on the planet would have expected this game to go to triple overtime as it did. Wayne Ellington's amazing shooting continues. He's just been a red-hot force. But unfortunately, this was Aaron Brooks' night, and he just killed us with those three-pointers, as I mentioned, 6 of 9. 14 of 30, so he wasn't perfect from the floor or anything, but it seemed like every time the Wolves had something going, that little SOB, that little Chris Rock look-alike, Aaron Brooks, was hitting three-pointers. And one of my favorite backup point guards of all time, Kyle Lowry, was only 0 of 8. Was 0 of 8 from the floor in the game. So, yeah, it wasn't really his day either. And now I was not being sarcastic when I talk about Kyle Lowry. I like him an awful lot. And to date, I would have loved him coming in that Kevin Love trade with the Memphis Grizzlies instead of him over there kicking our butt with the Houston Rockets every time he plays us, except for that particular day. And I might as well get into it right now. Yeah, I would rather have Kyle Lowry than Ramon Sessions. The more and more I watch Ramon Sessions, the less and less I like him. The guy, he cannot make free throws for anything. Ramon Sessions just cannot make free throws, and his passing is just getting, I don't know. He'll get his share of assists, but he makes some really dumb-ass decisions, man. I mean, Ramon Sessions makes some dumb-ass decisions. He just does. There's no doubt about it. Ryan Gomes, well, he's been doing good, but no. I don't know why I'm getting into Ryan Gomes here. I already did. Yeah, Ramon Sessions and Kyle Lowry. I mean, every time the Wolves play the Houston Rockets or Memphis Grizzlies or whoever has Kyle Lowry, I always want Kyle Lowry as their backup, not Sebastian Suck Telfair or Ramon Sessions. School's out. The session's out for Ramon Sessions. I'm sorry. There were rumors earlier in the year, Al Jefferson and Ramon Sessions possibly on their way out, but there was never any actual warm blood coming back in return to mention. There was never an actual trade rumor to mention until that Al Jefferson trade rumor for Danny Granger came out. And, that's one of the other bits I'm going to get into today is the poll, the response to the poll that I did last week about Al Jefferson. That'll be the final topic of the day as well. So, before I go too crazy and forget everything I'm trying to do here, we'll continue. Yeah. The only backup point guard I've ever been happy with on this team is Terry Porter. That's it. Terry Porter. And even he, early on, it's like, come on, put Marbury in, damn it. He's way better. Okay, I'll throw in Chauncey Billups. Because who in this town, honest to God, raise your hands, even though I can't see him, who in this town really liked Terrell Brandon more than Chauncey Billups? I mean, come on. Terrell Brandon, yeah, I don't want to hear about what a pure point guard he was, and how intelligent he was, and what a nice guy he was, and how he had that sweet jump shot. And no, none of us on the planet could have expected Chauncey Billups to become the talented, potential future Hall of Famer that he has become. I mean, the guy is a game changer. He's a franchise changer. But, even at the time when Chauncey Billups was more of kind of an offensive guy who could get assists, like when he started at point guard, he did get assists. It's just the problem is the way the Wolves used him as like a kind of a third guard microwave, whatever they want to call him. You don't really get many assists. And that was the issue there. And until yesterday, Johnny Flynn was on an awfully sucky run as well. But we did get 6 assists in this Houston game, so I'll shut up for that night. So, 3 of 13 from the floor. That's what I got to say about that.
Oh, come on, man.
Not the best thing for the Wolves right there, in my opinion. So I'll continue. I'm getting a little bit long on one game here. Let's move on. Aaron Brooks, as mentioned, just killed us down the stretch, and that's all that matters. So we'll move on to the next game before I get too long here. Can't spend all day on one lousy game. So, speaking of lousy games, as I'm the segue master, Friday the 15th, we head to Memphis, and, the Wolves cannot beat the Memphis Grizzlies. They have been demolished by Memphis by 20-plus points twice in Memphis, and we lost pretty handily at home against the sons of bitches, too. And again, my language is getting a little bit heated whenever I talk about them, because it's frustrating. Yeah, Memphis has improved, but come on, they're not that much better. My God. Okay, yeah, they are that much better. They're 20-18, but still, we're 20-18 at this particular point in time. But come on. 2 rebounds by Al Jefferson. 2 rebounds. Yeah, he was 10 of 13 from the floor, but he got 2 rebounds. Why is it every time he has a good shooting night, he doesn't rebound the ball? Could somebody fill me in on that mystery of the universe? It don't make sense, man. 2 days ago, he got 26 rebounds and 2 rebounds 2 days later? Oh, my goodness. Okay, one of the explanations might help that the Memphis Grizzlies did shoot 60%. It's kind of hard to rebound the ball when they're making every single shot they take. But, man, God, yeah, and Sam Young is starting to look pretty good, by the way. That's like a nice old-school Boston Celtics Sam Young. Yeah. This team is better than I'm giving them credit, and I know, I just can't help it. They're the Memphis Grizzlies. O.J. Mayo finally has been getting over the Timberwolves curse, because for the longest time he was kind of stinking against the Wolves, and Kevin Love was doing better. It seemed always Kevin Love would always win these battles, even though they didn't play the same position against each other, but you get the idea. And Zach Randolph is looking a lot. He has just gotten so much better with the Memphis Grizzlies than he has ever played in his career. I mean, in the past he'd get bloated numbers. That was selfish. Took dumb shots, bad decisions, and he had bloated stats, but really wasn't that good. Rudy Gay continues to be a star, and he's building up that contract year, which you always love because you just hope and pray that he'll continue to do that after he signs the contract. Like Michael Conley or Mike Conley, whatever you want to call him. Boy, has he been emerging as well. Memphis Grizzlies do have a future in this league, without a doubt, especially when Hashim Thabit finally starts showing that he's a starter in this league. He is a long ways away, but he did get 3 blocks in this game. Yes, he did. He got 3 blocks in this game. Yeah, Corey Brewer saw a little bit of that, so did Ellington. A little frustrating. Ellington, though, 8 of 13 from the floor, 17. He was really the main positive, other than Corey Brewer, who had he had a nice 20-point game again, 22-point game. He's kind of hot and cold, man. I mean, when he's hot, he's good, but boy, when he's cold, he's ugly. He is really ugly. Just like Pavlovich, yeah. And I don't necessarily mean that physically, though. You could say that, too. The stat of the night, though, is probably Nathan Joai getting 4 assists. How about that? That's kind of crazy. Johnny Flynn's shooting percentage just sucking major every night until we finally get to the Philadelphia game, as we're going to get there right now. This was yesterday, the 18th, Monday, the 18th of January. The Wolves have a few days off, and here we go. Allen Iverson comes to town, and he gets sat down most of the fourth quarter, or at least about halfway through the fourth quarter and the entire overtime. Not sure what the deal was there. He didn't have the greatest night in his career or anything. He didn't go out there and score 50 points. He was 4 of 12, and he did get 5 turnovers. But, yeah, it was a little bit surprising. He did have 9 assists in the game at the time. A little weird. Willie Green was doing Aaron Brooks early on. He was making every single shot. In fact, he made his first 7 shots of the game. And then, oh, gosh darn it, he started missing. He made his first 5 shots of the game, And after that, he pretty much couldn't make anything. And I love that. Thank God, because the 76ers would have won the ballgame if Willie Green made anything else. He shot, I'm having a disaster here with a microphone. Yikes. Okay. Being that he shot 2 of 6 from three-point range, he missed his last 4 attempts from the three-point range. And, hey, we'll take it. Because the Warriors were spanking the Wolves big time, shooting about 60% in the first half. And here come the Wolves in the second. 33-18 in the second half, or third quarter, And the Wolves finished fairly strong. But down the stretch, folks, it was not proficient. It was not good basketball play that forced this thing into overtime. And it wasn't guys hitting big shots down the stretch. Everybody was missing. Nobody wanted to make anything. Johnny Flynn missed a floater that I think he easily could have made. I mean, you're going on glass on that. He had such a good look at the basket. I don't know why he missed that. And I'm not trying to rip him, but it's like, doggone it. I think he could have made that. And that was kind of frustrating. Andre Iguodala put a horrendous shot, though, on the other side with 13 seconds left on the clock. I mean, they had a lot of time to do something, and he put up a pathetic shot. Just terrible. So that worked out nicely. By the way, Damian Wilkins, the 2 3-point attempts he took, I honest to God, could have been more accurate on those attempts. I mean, they were both air balls, and they were ugly as heck. I mean, just what the hell? And they were the dumbest decisions too, with like 18 seconds left on the shot clock. Stop taking dumbass shots like that. I can't stand that stuff. Corey Brewer did the same thing. He was 2 of 9 from the floor. Just so many dumb shots down the stretch. I mean, the Wolves were very fortunate that the lid went on the rim for the Philadelphia 76ers, man. I mean, there might be a conspiracy here that the Wolves put some type of force field on the rim. I mean, they couldn't make anything down the stretch. So the Wolves very fortunate because they just took some really dumb shots in this game. But hey, you know what? We'll take it. We'll take it. And Al Jefferson's 23 and 13, about the ugliest 23 and 13 you'll ever see. I mean, it looked like the guy was pretty much invisible for about 2.5 quarters, and then he finally started making some of those baby hooks. He made a couple of, he drew an and one, which was nice, on a really nice pass from Brian Cardinal. Brian Cardinal played excellent in this game. He played about 12.5 minutes, 9.3 assist game by Brian Cardinal, and all 3 of those assists were really nice plays. And I mean really, really smart basketball plays. And you know what? Keep him in the game. Shoot. You might want to take a few minutes away from Damian Wilkins, who played about 39 minutes in the game. Why? Other than, yeah, it might help if I mentioned that Kevin Love was out with illness. Unfortunately, he could not play in the game, and the Wolves still won. That was the good part. The bad part was, though, yeah, my goodness, that's a little bit too many minutes for Wilkins and Gomes. You could throw a little more in for Brian Cardinal. The guy really helped the Wolves down the stretch, and he played almost the whole fourth quarter, which was really valuable for the Wolves. And as I mentioned, pump fake and setting up Al Jefferson. He pump faked, I can't remember who it was. Oh, man. I believe it was Thaddeus. Yeah, it was Thaddeus Young, pump fake Thaddeus Young, and was able to set up Al Jefferson, who drew an and one. Just an outstanding play. That was one of the plays that really kept the Wolves going in that fourth quarter when each side was making shots. But the player of the game was Johnny Flynn. 29.9 assist performance. Missed a big free throw down the stretch. His 10th attempt of the game. He was 9 of 10 from the line. But, of course, the very last one was the one he missed, whereas the Wolves may have won the game by a point instead of had to go to overtime. That was about 2 possessions before the buzzer. But whatever. The Wolves won the game because in overtime, Johnny Flynn hit more shots when he needed to, as did Jefferson. Just a nice, solid game by the Wolves. Ryan Gomes was very solid. He helped lead the comeback. And it was just a nice game. Just a nice game for the Wolves. Nice finish anyway. Not a nice game, but a nice finish. Very, very happy with the finish for the Wolves. The Sixers, as mentioned, could not hit anything. So we're gonna conclude the game reviews. It was a fairly entertaining game, that last one. It was a nice little treat for some of the fans who came out with not much energy, and I don't blame them. A lot of them probably didn't really want to be there on that day. It's like, it's my day off, and I'm missing the whole afternoon now, and the Wolves were getting stomped, and then they made that nice comeback, so it made it all worth it. Hopefully the Wolves gained a few extra fans on that day. Hopefully, because the Wolves need some more fans to come back and watch these games in the worst way. As Bob from Minneapolis will tell you, they're pretty much giving the tickets away. I mean, they really are. So I'm actually going to take a quick break, and we'll get into a couple nuggets right after this. And we're back here on Timberwolves Explosion, episode number 46, which is a reminder for iPod users, Microsoft Zune, and other MP3 players. Okay, welcome back. A few nuggets to get to, and really, quite honestly, I think they're fairly interesting. I think they are. And, of course, the poll. So I hope and pray my computer isn't screwing up the audio here, as it tends to do that at times. And I do apologize to you listeners out there that may be getting irritated with that. So there's 2 nuggets, and then the poll. The poll, of course, Wolves related. The first nugget, Wolves related. The second nugget, well, former Timberwolf related. You might be able to guess who it is, because he's a guy I talk about a lot. He's a former Timberwolf who played here about 10 years ago. There, that pretty much baited it for you right there. Well, now the Timberwolves played against the 76ers yesterday, right? Well, who went right back to the 76ers after spending 1 year with the Wolves last year and played pretty good? Rodney Carney. Yep, he played about 10 minutes yesterday, and of course, all of them, or unfortunately, they were all in the first half. That sucked. But yeah, David Kahn said before the game that he was interested in re-signing Carney, but said he and Rambis leaned more towards signing Pavlovich because they considered his all-around game better. Yeah, I'm speechless. I'm just so speechless. I can't even. Oh my God. What was he thinking? What about Sasha Pavlovich tells you he had a better all-around game than Rodney Carney? Were you watching did you watch anything on Rodney Carney before you made that decision? Oh my God. Sasha Pavlovich's defense, I don't know. I don't see anything from Sasha Pavlovich that he's a better defender than Rodney Carney. There's the first thing that you might come out with, because Rodney Carney is one hell of a defender. Carney was pretty damn good from the outside last year. I just might want to run that by you out there. Let's see, he's about 100 times better athlete, and he's younger, and he probably would cost about the same price that Rodney Carney did.
Seriously?
Oh my God. Yeah, there it is. There it is, folks. As I'm coming up with the 50th episode really soon, the dumbest quote by a Timberwolf. There it is. I mean, I can guarantee you, unless somebody comes up with a dumber quote in the next 4 episodes, there it is. And no, David Kahn is not a Timberwolf, but he is a member. He is a member of the staff, so he counts. There it is. There it is. I'm writing it down. I mean, wow. I'm sorry out there if you get offended by. No, you can't get offended by that. I'm giving you my opinion. If you think Sasha Pavlovich presented any type of reason to believe that he had a better all-around game than Rodney Carney, call into this show at 209-736-7877 and tell me why. Set me straight. I'm not scared. And you better convince me, folks. You better convince me. I don't think I'm going to get anybody calling in and disagreeing with that. And no, I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about past seasons. Was Sasha Pavlovich better than Rodney Carney? Rodney Carney was so valuable for the Wolves last year. I mean, a lot of our cute little comebacks last year, Rodney Carney was all over it. And a lot of the games we played really well, especially the 10-4 month of January last year, Rodney Carney's fingerprints were all over it. Again, I present to you a challenge. Tell me why Sasha Pavlovich was a better player, or presented a better all-around game than Rodney Carney. And yes, I understand, all of you, before you flood me with the hate mail out there, all 10 of you left out there that pay attention to the Wolves. No, okay. I hope there's more out there than that, but I understand people can make mistakes, and for whatever reason, you're more set on a guy than a different one. But, man, even just word of mouth would tell you Rodney Carney's better. Even if you didn't watch, listen to Fred Hoiberg and such. 'Cause I can't imagine Fred Hoiberg would have told him a different opinion than that. The Suns released Pavlovich. They let him go. Nobody released Rodney Carney. Nobody. Okay, I'll calm down and we'll move on to the next subject here before I go on a 50-minute rant on that. Because I wanted Rodney Carney back pretty bad, and I'm sure a lot of you did as well. So I'm not just speaking for me, I'm speaking for you out there. I'm on your team, baby. Ha ha! All right. What a spectacular story this is. What a wonderful cute little story. Yet, it's such a sob story, too, when you look at the amount of money, too. Stephon Marbury to make $25,000 a month in China. So now he's headed to China. This was courtesy of Adrian Wojnarowski. I'll never get it right, but that's about as close as I'm going to get. After earning nearly $22 million in the last NBA season, Stephon Marbury has taken a substantial pay cut to play in the Chinese Basketball Association. $25,000 per month, a source familiar with the deal told Yahoo Sports. Before agreeing to the deal with Shangzi Zhongyu, and please forgive me if I mispronounced that, Marbury had turned down a few European overtures during the summer, a source said, including bids by 2 Greek teams. Maccabi Tel Aviv had interest but never made a formal offer. The Boston Celtics were willing to bring Marbury back in the spring, but Marbury believed offers of $8 to $10 million annually would eventually come over the summer.
Oh my God!
Anybody home? Hello, McFly? McFly? Anybody home? No. No. If Marbury believed that, he is delusional. And I'm glad you're a free agent, Marbury. I just love that video. What? Oh my goodness. What hint of Stephon Marbury what would give him that hint? I just don't understand it. We'll continue very slowly, or very gradually here. Top teams in Europe had the same fears the NBA did. After Marbury spent the summer live streaming his bizarre behavior on the internet, teams feared he had lost his mind. Oh, remember the article I wrote on TimberwolvesPress.com, and I wrote it before anybody else. You can deny it to the moon, you can argue till you're blue in the face, and I will argue to you till I'm blue in the face. I wrote that article first because I watched it as I was watching it as I wrote it on TimberwolvesPress.com. So, just so you know out there, Stephon Marbury has lost his mind, and that's literally, yeah, there you go. That's literally what's written in the article here. Nevertheless, most believe Marbury's talents haven't entirely eroded after 13 seasons. Well, I would say they've come close. Shaanxi has lost 10 of 13 games and sits in 12th place in the 17-team CBA. So there's another CBA. The team insisted the 32-year-old Marbury was willing to play the rest of the season for a chance to market his Starbury shoe and clothing apparel line. So, that's okay, I guess. I mean, that's fine. He's trying to run a business and whatever's left that he can sell. Good luck to him, I guess. I mean, I like business stuff too. I've traded stocks before, so whatever. Marbury's salary is not an astronomical figure because by coming here, he also hopes to open up the Chinese market and sell his shoes. Shaanxi executive Wang Xingyang said, and there's no way I pronounced that right, but that's the article, and we do appreciate that from Adrian Wojnarowski from Yahoo Sports. Whew, and when reading that, there's no way in hell I was going to come on air and not have something to say. So there you go. I said it. So let's move on to the poll. Let's welcome back to the show and move on to the poll here. And, of course, the poll was that Al Jefferson trade rumor related. The question was, who do you believe in this Al Jefferson trade rumor and why? The two answers were the media, the Wolves contacted Indy, and Khan and Al are taking the high road, just like Dennis Green with the hand of the plow and straight forward. Or the Wolves, as ESPN and Yahoo thought they had something and went with it. Well, a resounding 100% go with the media. Yeah, including myself. When there's smoke, there's fire, as Aussie Wolf says. Real quick, PMAC's response. I tend to believe the media here. Al is recovering from an ACL injury, which is a pretty bad injury for a baller, as Michael read. Now, Al's stats have dropped understandably, and who is to say they will turn to where they once were? Yeah, I can see why the Wolves would cover this up if it hit the media. As soon as talk of trading him becomes common knowledge, then I assume his trade value drops, and I strongly agree with that. I absolutely do agree with that. Unfortunately, there's a good chance it may drop anyway because I think a lot of people will agree with you. The media is correct. There's something cooking there. And that's T-Mac's take, so I agree with him. I got to read this, too. He said, I'm still angry with Minnesota for the 2009 draft, and it just wouldn't surprise me to see them trying to cover this up. So, yeah, and obviously P-Mac, you know why he's upset, right? New York Knicks need a point guard, and they're still stuck with Christina Duhan, as P-Mac will happily call him, because we took Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn. Unfortunately, though, the Knicks, as I know he's a little upset at the Knicks themselves for this one, had Brandon Jennings in their lap and did not take him. So that part's definitely not Minnesota's fault. NY Buddha, love to have him posting on here as well. And, of course, by the way, PMAC is a co-host with Rusty on the sportstuff.com. The crossover is just turning into a huge hit on the sportstuff.com and on iTunes. It's a hit, folks. It's officially a hit. and I do recommend it strongly to you. New York Knicks, New Jersey Nets, and even if you don't like either team, I mean, I don't mind either team, but I'm not a big fan of either one. I'll admit I like the Knicks a little more. I apologize, Rusty. I just do for whatever reason. Do check that show out. It is just awesome. So NY Buddha, who's of course a fan of the New York Knicks, and PMAC and Rusty on that show. Al Jeff, like Shaq and Curry. So he's mentioning Eddie Curry there are becoming relics in that traditional post-up big thing of the past. I think Rambis wants a guy that can play with the guards. He has Flynn. He likes to fly up and down, paired with Gomes and Ellington. And Brewer are more suited for the fast-paced. Even Mr. Love is used to that flow. God knows if Rubio comes over, slowing it down for AJ would kill his majestic improv skills. And, it's just, it's more or less that Al Jefferson does not fit in. And that's becoming more and more of a tell. Doesn't really fit into the triangle. He can, but he just doesn't. He just doesn't. Shaq did fit into the triangle, though, very well. But this is more of kind of an up and down triangle. It's a little bit different, a little more fast break than just triangle and that slow it down style. So yeah, I do agree that if one of them is going to get traded, I do think it's Al. The whole Love and Jefferson thing, I do think it's Al. So now, last and certainly not least, Aussie Wolf chimes in, and there it is. There is no smoke without fire, as he's saying. Yeah, it is the media. He agrees with the media. A rumor is one thing, but this just feels real. Blind Willie can see this will happen, and it's only a matter of time. Khan will hose it down to maintain Al's value and also keep Al's focus on basketball rather than packing a suitcase. Al is still a very good player, and as long as he doesn't re-injure himself, he is still a good piece for a team who prefers to play the half-court style. I was thinking it would happen during the summer, but now I lean towards next month. We'll see. And, I wouldn't be surprised either way, to be honest. One way or another, something is going to happen. And like I said on the last show, and I'm going to say it again, minimum a medium-sized trade will happen before the February deadline. I'm saying it on air for the second show in a row. Guaranteed. I guarantee you, folks, some type of trade will happen. And I don't think it's going to be Pavlovich for a protected second rounder through 2050. Okay? I think something's happening, and that's about what you could get for Sasha Pavlovich. Anyhow, as I'm getting back in that previous nugget. Oof, that was frustrating. Definitely good thoughts, Aussie, and I 100% agree with everything you said there. One final thought, though, on Big Al. I'm not all the way like, oh my God, trade him out of here, because I do like Al Jefferson, but I do think also that Kevin Love will fit in better long term. But I'm going to tell you one thing: I will miss Al Jefferson, and I don't think trading him. I don't think the idea of trading him is because I don't like him and because I don't think he deserves to be on this team or all that good stuff. I really, really like the guy, and it has nothing to do with anything in that nature. It's just more of a matter of does he fit and can he fit. I think he's trying damn hard. I really do. I think Al is trying really damn hard. He's very inconsistent with the rebounding, though, and defensively, well, I don't know who to believe anymore on the defense. It's just, about who's better between Love and Jefferson. Some days they look good, like Al will block some shots, and some days Kevin Love will frustrate somebody, and the next day or the next play, they'll get scorched. And they will get scorched time and time again. So, defensively, the front line sucks defensively. Absolutely sucks. And all this talk about Ryan Gomes being a great defensive player, by the way, overrated. Corey Brewer is the best defensive player in the team, and Rodney Carney was that as well the previous year. So, that is how I stand on that at this point in time. So, I do thank you for listening to the show today. We are going to call it a day, and I would encourage you again to call into the phone lines 209-736-7877. It's 209-736-7877. It is a voicemail. Do treat it as such. Mention you were calling in for Timberwolves Explosion, and please, guys, please out there, somebody out there on TSS, I know you've been thinking of calling in. Just do it. Stop thinking and do it, will you? And no, that's not a shot. It's just, please call in. It would really help. it's just, all it does is make it more fun. It's the guys in the crossover would agree. When I called in, everybody else started calling in. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's definitely added to that show. So help me out here, guys. You get the idea there. Also, please sign up for the message boards. On the sportstuff.com, there's a button that says TSS Sports in the upper right-hand corner. Do click on that, and then simply click register, and you're on board. So do that, please. It would be appreciated very much so. And in the referral bar that you will see when you're registering, type in Paladino Live. They're two separate words. Paladin, as in November. Oh, live, two separate words. And then you're done. That way I can be mentioned as a referral. I don't make money doing it. It just mentions I brought you to the site, and that's a good thing. So, thanks again for listening. Going to call it a day, and we will talk to you next week. Take care.